What's up everybody, Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video. Today we're talking about Hatterene, the Psychic Fairy type Pokemon introduced in the new gen. Immunities to Dragon, which is really good. Resistances to Fighting and Psychic, which is also really good. Both of those typings are very popular, very prevalent in the game, in the current meta game, which is good. You have some solid switch-ins after, if you have to switch out and bring it back in, set up Trick Room, and it's pretty good. Weaknesses: Poison, Ghost, Steel. Poison is a little less relevant than the others, however the others are very relevant. Steel and Ghost. Steel is the worst one. We have things like Duraludon. The most common setup for Hatterene is Hatterene Indeedee. Indeedee being able to set up Follow Me and Psychic Terrain, and then Hatterene just sets up Trick Room and then starts sweeping. Well, Duraludon has Stalwart, which gets through Follow Me, and has a chance, albeit very slim chance, and it has to be max invested holding Life Orb, and max Dynamax. It has a very slim chance of killing you through Babbery Berry, and we have that in a damage calc at the very end of the video. Not very end of the video, but in the damage calc section, and yeah, it sucks. Not gonna lie to you guys, it sucks. So yeah, Duraludon's scary, but other than that, other Steel Pokemon are obviously scary as well. You know, after Indeedee falls, they max Steel Spike into you, it does a lot of damage, and that's just how it's gonna go. And Ghost is also very scary, things like Shadow Ball coming in from Jellicent and Dragapult and Gengar, even things like that. Like Shadow Ball is scary. Mimikyu's offensive Shadow Claw. Our defense is lower than our special defense, so those kind of suck. Phantom Force, all of those attacks just suck in general against us, or are good against us, suck if you're using Hatterene. Anyway, we'll talk about some stats here. So 29 base speed is pretty solid. On a Trick Room user, you give it min speed, and then you also use a hindering nature, giving us 30 as our final base product here, which is really solid. 30, it's on the same speed tier as the Aromatisse that we had in the video yesterday, and it's really good. It can fill a similar role to Aromatisse, setting up Trick Room and then attacking a lot and being offensive. Or so my build for Aromatisse was supportive. So you set up Trick Room and then you support with moves like Heal Pulse and Helping Hand and stuff like that. This Pokemon I have all just attacks, and you can use it Life Orb or Babbery Berry. However, I like Babbery Berry just because it gives you the chance of living Stalwart, which I don't know if you want to challenge in general, but usually your team kind of sucks if you don't get off Trick Room in a Trick Room team, and that's just how it goes sometimes, you know. So you kind of just have to roll the dice and take the chance sometimes, and it is in your favor. However, it's still risky. Into our defenses, so 57 HP kind of sucks, not gonna lie, it's like not good, but max invest and then Dynamax it after turn 1, and it's fine. It tanks some stuff, especially paired with its defenses. 95 defense is pretty solid, and then 103 special defense is a little, even better than that. Both are pretty above average and solid. This Pokemon has great stats across the board for the most part. Kind of sucks that so much isn't poured into its attack. You could potentially use this Pokemon as an attacker instead of special attack, but it's almost 40 more for special attack, so we are going to use special attack. Also, I think it has a better move spread, in my opinion. Special attack 136, attack 90. Special attack 136 is insane. It's actually really solid. So you hit a Trick Room, next turn you max it and start hitting max Mind Storms, max Starfalls, max Flares into things, and you're doing a lot of damage instantly. This Pokemon is actually just amazing with that. And you could opt to play Life Orb, but with the rampant use of Duraludon, I would keep it Babbery Berry, in my opinion. I like Babbery Berry a lot, and most Duraludons are going to invest more into speed. Their max invest in speed and special attack, but their nature will be for speed. They'll be timid nature, and then they won't be able to kill you through Babbery Berry. So that's kind of my idea. Anyway, on to our actual build itself. So ability, Magic Bounce. So this is actually a really good ability. It reflects everything that is like a status, a non-attacking move used on this Pokemon. So things like status inducing things like Will-O-Wisp, Sleep Powder, things like that, it bounces it back, which is really good. Things like Charm, they're not going to charm you, but Fake Tears, things like that, bounces it back, really solid. Moves like Taunt, really solid. I talked about this in the Aromatisse video, how powerful an ability is that stops taunt and encore and things like that stop Trick Room. It's really, really powerful because you just don't care. Follow Me, indeedee is usually going to use Follow Me on its side, so you don't really have to worry about taunt most of the time. However, maybe late game, you want to go for Trick Room number 2, and you just can't. And that happens sometimes, but because of Magic Bounce, you can. And that's pretty cool. Item, Babbery Berry. I talked about this briefly. Mostly it's just for the Duraludon matchup. It's also very good in general against things like Excadrill, Mudsdale, potentially. All of those things, giving us that extra survivability. And you can opt to use something like Life Orb to make this Pokemon just do more damage. 1.3 times damage is a lot of damage to just add with the item. However, I just value the survivability a little bit more, I think. Babbery Berry, if you don't have Babbery Berry, you die to Duraludon every time. If you have Babbery Berry, you die to Duraludon like very, very, very little amounts of time. So that's pretty good. Into our moves, we have Trick Room, obviously. We're a Trick Room setter. We're very good speed for Trick Room. This Pokemon is very solid for Trick Room. And Dazzling Gleam, just a good psychic, not psychic, a good stab fairy type attack. We have Psychic, which is a good stab psychic attack, and then Mystical Fire. It's a high damage fire attack, pretty good for spread. Max Flare can be powerful. You Max Flare into something and then Max Flare again under Sun is really powerful. It's good for things like Ferrothorn that would usually wall or just destroy this Pokemon. You get to just like, oop, you're dead. It's very powerful. And we have a couple of other moves that you can use. Giga Drain, you can swap that out with Mystical Fire if you don't want that on your team. You have Life Dew, which heals you and your partner Pokemon, I think like 33% or 25%. Not a lot, but it's like good, especially when you Dynamax. However, if you're Dynamaxed, you can't Life Dew. It comes out Max Guard. But we already have Max Guard with Trick Room, so, and then we have Protect as our last one. You can run Protect. It's a good move. It's always a good move. If you don't know, if you have 3 moves you want to use, throw Protect on there. It's like never bad. And yeah, so that's our move set, move pool in general that is really good. You have things like Psyshock too if you want to opt to use that, but I like Psychic. And yeah, into our actual investment. So I max invest in HP. Once again, it's pretty basic. It's 252, 252, 4. I still feel comfortable using that move spread most of the time. There's not a lot of you have to run a lot of damage calcs for things, and definitely do that if you're prepping for an event. Definitely run a lot of damage calcs. Know if you need to invest weirdly into things. But as far as just a basic base for this Pokemon, 252 into HP, 252 into special attack, and 4 into defense is pretty solid. We also spot the quiet nature, giving us plus special attack minus speed, so that we're lowest speed we can be. 30 speed is pretty low, and we have speed tiers here in a moment. I'm going to talk about some partner Pokemon and stuff like that first. However, yeah, being as low speed as you can is good. That's it for the move pool, the whole build in general. We'll talk about some partners. So we have Indeedee as our first one. This is the most common way you'll see Hatterene be played, is because it sets up Follow Me, which is really, really useful. So you get Trick Room off without really worrying too much. It's pretty solid. The only things you worry about is like Stalwart Duraludon, which is always a big worry on this team. Indeedee also sets up Psychic Surge, which gives you a 1.5 times boost on your psychic moves, which is very good. It also stops priority attacks going into your grounded Pokemon, which Indeedee and Hatterene are both grounded. It stops Fake Out into your Indeedee, which is very solid, and lets you Follow Me guaranteed, or practically guaranteed. It's very strong. Torkoal, Rhyperior, Snorlax, Mudsdale. I'm going to group all these together, honestly. There's no point in not. All of them are very solid. Great Trick Room options. If you intend on maxing your Hatterene the majority of the time, don't use Rhyperior probably. Rhyperior is still good without maxing it. However, it really makes your weakness policy just insane with Rhyperior. So that's really interesting. And Torkoal, super good under Trick Room. It gets really slow. You just Eruption and kill everything. It's really awesome. I love it. Snorlax, another Pokemon that you probably won't want to use if you're going to max Hatterene, just because you usually use G-Max Lax. However, you can use Curse Lax, which is really good. Gets you really, really slow, really bulky, and then you get to just recycle, and Darkest Lariat Facade is really powerful. Mudsdale is another really powerful Trick Room sweeper. Just a really powerful Pokemon in general, but under Trick Room it becomes pretty fast. And it hits like 36 speed tier, I think. which is just a little bit slower, or a little bit faster than Hatterene. Like I said, we hit 30. But we have speed tiers, and we'll go over that in a minute. And things that are scary. Duraludon. I've talked about this enough. You don't need to hear more explanation. It's really scary. Maybe even kills through. Babbery Berry is very bad. Tyranitar Excadrill. This is mostly just to symbolize things that are multi-targeting. Gets through the Indeedee. You'll probably still be able to set up Trick Room. You're bulky enough to live a double Rock Slide most of the time against a Excadrill and Tyranitar, and neither of them have Stalwart. But if they use Duraludon and a double targeting attack, it kills Hatterene almost guaranteed, and it's really, really dangerous. And that'll happen before you because you're slow. So if they start Duraludon Tyranitar or Duraludon Excadrill, you're in for some trouble. So like, be careful of that. Anyway, that's all I have for this. We'll talk about some speed tiers. Speed tiers are very similar. They're actually the exact same as the Aromatisse. So here we are at 30, right there, 30. Hatterene. We're slowest we can possibly be at 30. A couple of things will outspeed us under Trick Room. So once we activate Trick Room, Gigalith and Dusclops outspeed us, which you won't see much Gigalith, but Dusclops does outspeed us, which is pretty annoying. Although it doesn't really have anything in its tool, or in its tool set that bothers us too much. Nightshade does some damage, but it's not like, it doesn't just like kill us or anything. And they're not going to max it and use like max Phantasm with base power 40. It would do nothing. Torkoal and Ferrothorn both outspeed us. That's pretty annoying. Ferrothorn is really powerful against you with Gyro Ball. Albeit Gyro Ball does not a lot of damage since we're so slow as well. It does hit pretty hard because it's super effective, but that's really it. It doesn't hit like an insane damage. It does pretty much what you'll expect. Like, I think like 50-40%, maybe even less, maybe even more. I'm not entirely sure. Torkoal Eruption is always a problem. Eruption is really powerful under Trick Room. Going first, just obliterate everything. It's crazy. Outspeeding us initially, we outspeed them after Trick Room, above us, up here, is Snorlax and Runerigus and Reuniclus at 31. Just barely outspeeding us. They will outspeed us initially. This is all hindering the lowest speed you can be. A lot of Snorlax that you'll see are going to be a little bit faster than this, but Runerigus and Reuniclus will never be much faster than that. They'll almost always be min speed, I think. In my opinion, they usually will be. Anyway, then we have 36 Mudsdale. This guy outspeeds us initially, which is pretty annoying, but because it has like heavy slam and stuff. But if you use Follow Me, then you kind of just like not worried about it too much. Gastrodon and Rhyperior are 39 to 40. These are some that you probably have ingrained in your head by now if you watch the speed tiers in all of my videos, because they're there a lot of the time, and just because they're so relevant, and it's a speed tier that you'll really want to know. So yeah, that's about it for speed tiers. Not much else to say. On to our damage calcs. We have a lot of damage calcs. They're all very good. So first one, this one's scary. So this is Max Invested, Modest Nature, Life Orb, Duraludon, Max Steel Spike into our Babbery Berry, Max Invested into HP. It does 89 to 105%. Now, look at this. 37.5 chance to OHKO. This is scary. This is something that, like, I don't want to really challenge. You don't really want to challenge. However, way more frequently, the Duraludon will be Timid Nature instead of Modest Nature. So, this means if it's Timid Nature, it won't kill us. It won't kill us. So that's really solid, actually, being able to just be fine against Duraludon. However, there's no way to know. So you kind of just have to do it, or not do it. And you have to make that decision. It's a really important decision right before you go into battle. It's like, oh, do I want to try for the Trick Room here? Or do I want to, like, not die? And it really depends on your team. If your team is Hatterene and Indeedee, and then 4 Trick Room Pokemon, or like 3 Trick Room Pokemon, it could be scary. But if those Pokemon are like Conkeldurr and Gastrodon, they're fine in and out of Trick Room, and then you have a mid-speed Pokemon, or like a Corviknight with Psychic Seed for your Indeedee. You have different routes, and that's a pretty important thing in this game, is having different routes to play if you know that your main game plan is going to get shut down. So if you see Duraludon, you can definitely make that choice. It's like, we'll go Hatterene Corviknight with a faster speed tier mode this game. And that's an important decision you'll have to make, but you will have to make that at the beginning of a game. And yeah, so Duraludon's scary. Max invested attack Life Orb Excadrill Rock Slide does 30 to 35%, and same with the Rock Slide from the Tyranitar. So this will do around like 60 to 70% of your damage on the Hatterene, which is a lot of damage. It'll put you into knockout range the next turn, and the next turn you can only single target, which is annoying. But I think you still have to, like, so if you start Indeedee Hatterene and they start Tyranitar Excadrill, you still have to follow me. They're going to double Rock Slide, but if you don't follow me, there's a chance they're gonna Iron Head and just kill your Hatterene, and you really don't want that. If they kill your Hatterene before you set up Trick Room, when you went Trick Room mode, you're in trouble, and that's just something that you're gonna have to take that neg. You're gonna have to take that 60% on your Indeedee, or on your Hatterene, and like potentially more on your Indeedee, and that's just something you'll have to make that choice of. You could next level them, and they're like, oh, he's gonna follow me, and then double Rock Slides, and then you just throw out like an attack on the Indeedee instead. But I really do think that it's probably not worth it, and you should probably still follow me, just because that Iron Head will kill you. And although like if you have Babbery, you know, it won't kill you, so you might be able to be fine. But that's just something you have to playtest a bunch to see if that's something that you're willing to do. And anyway, on to our next one. Now we have some damage from our Dynamax. So this is sweeping Dynamax. This is with Babbery Berry, so it's without the Life Orb, all three of these. Max invested Quiet Nature, so we're plus on special attack. Max Mindstorm into Assault Vest Conkeldurr. Max invested into HP, does 111 to 131% damage. Guaranteed Oko. This is huge. This is huge to kill through an Assault Vest Conkeldurr. Max invested HP, not correct nature for bulk, but this is huge. Through Assault Vest, we're able to guaranteed Oko Conkeldurr. A lot of people, if they have Conkeldurr on their team, they'll bring it since we're playing Trick Room, and you just get to Oko it guaranteed, even through Assault Vest, which is huge. Dynamaxed into Max Starfall into a Grimmsnarl that's invested fairly well, 252 HP, 60 into special defense. This is a pretty common spread you'll see on Grimmsnarl. We do 145 to 172%. This is really huge, but most of the time they're going to light screen. They can maybe like Thunder Wave your Indeedee or something, but they won't because Psychic Surge, and since they have priority, so they'll definitely just set screens. So light screen will set up. You'll do like 70 to 80% damage on it, which is good. However, it still sets up, they still then set up Reflect. So then they have most likely 8 turns, since it's most likely Light Clay. They most likely have 8 turns of half damage, which sucks. But it is what it is, you know. My voice is going crazy. Dynamax Max Starfall into Dynamaxed Dragapult does 97.5 to 115 damage. 81.3 chance to Oko. This is like a good thing. So if you go for Trick Room turn 1 and follow me, and they go for like Phantom Force, you can just follow me the next turn, and then you won't be able to kill the Dragapult, but then you attack into his partner, and then you attack into the Dragapult the next turn. It sounds like a lot, but if they Phantom Force, like they're still you're gonna outspeed them after Trick Room is set, so you don't attack into the Dragapult, but then the next turn you kill the Dragapult. Even if it Dynamaxes, you kill it like 80% of the time, which is that's one that I would probably roll a lot of the time, just because 80%, like that's a very good margin. 40% is like do I want to take that chance, but 80% is like, yeah, I probably want to take that chance. It's very strong. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all for this video. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for subbing and liking the videos. We're killing it. We just hit 500 subs last night we hit 500 subs, which is huge. That's like so big for me. I'm very excited to have that, and that's awesome. So let's keep going. The 2020 is the year we're all gonna be Pokemon masters, all of us. It's gonna be great, and I'll continue to do more. All these guides, I want to start doing potentially challenge runs, potentially challenge battles with people, maybe like draft format and stuff. I want to figure out that. I'm looking into some things, maybe down the road a little bit we'll do that, and Nuzlocke down the road as well, and randomizer Nuzlocke down the road as well. If that's something you're excited for, like it up, subscribe it up, and tell me in the comments if that's something you actually want to see. If it's not, then maybe I'll just leave that on like Twitch when I start streaming. Hint, hint. I'm gonna start streaming one day. I don't know when. Anyway, I've rambled for like 2 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, you're the best. Like and subscribe. It means so much to me. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.